ahead, please.
Good morning to all. Greetings to all of you for attending today's webinar. I, Junaid Tantre, and as a co-convener of this event, it's a pleasure to welcome such a diverse and keen audience. Your involvement adds significant value to our discussions and highlights our mutual understanding progressing in our respective areas. I'm eager for fruitful dialogue and collaborative learning as we embark on this educational endeavor together. SPSR is renowned for its interactive webinars, further solidifying its reputation as a premier platform for ongoing professional development. In the pharmaceutical sector, I'm confident that today's webinar will continue our standard of excellence, offering insightful perspectives from an esteemed presenter. Let's take an opportunity to acquire new knowledge, engage actively, and advance our industry. Welcome, everyone. We are gathered today to commemorate the 66th SPSR webinar on pharmacoeconomics in clinical trials, optimizing cost effectiveness in drug development, a distinguished event in the series hosted by Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research under the esteemed guidance of Dr. Shashi Alok Sir, National President SPSR. The Society continues to play a pivotal role in fostering innovation and advancement in the field of pharmaceutical sciences. The SPSR committed to the progression and enhancement of pharmaceutical field through diverse strategies. We aim to facilitate conferences that promote pharmacy-related issues, endorse programs, and other addressing public health issues in India, with emphasis on disease prevention. Central to our purpose is the commitment to fostering a rich exchange of information regarding pharmaceutical practices and services. It's a great privilege to introduce Dr. Prashant Tiwari, Sir, Associate Professor, School of Health Sciences, Dayananda Sagar University, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Dr. Prashant Tiwari Sir's expertise greatly contributes to our event, providing substantial knowledge and insights. His participation is certain to enrich our discussions and expand exploration of pharmacoeconomics in clinical trials. We are grateful for his engagement and anticipate an enlightening session. It's a privilege to introduce Mrs. Monika Sabharwal, ma'am, as a convener for today's webinar, who also serves as a National Secretary of SPSR and Managing Editor for both IJPSR and IJP. Her significant involvement and leadership in the pharmaceutical sciences and research communities are indicative of her commitment to the field. We are very grateful to have her guidance in today's session. I am pleased to invite Mrs. Monika Sabharwal, ma'am, to warmly welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Prashant Tiwari, sir. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Junaid Tantre. Hello, everyone. I am Monika Sabharwal, the convener of 66 SPSR webinar. I am truly honored to welcome you all to today's session, organized by Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, SPSR. Our topic for this webinar is both critical and highly relevant in the modern pharmaceutical landscape: pharmacoeconomics in clinical trials, optimizing cost effectiveness in the drug development. We are privileged to have Dr. Prashant Tiwari, sir, as esteemed expert in the health sciences and pharmacoeconomics, as our speaker for today's session. Dr. Tiwari, sir, serves as an associate professor at School of Health Sciences, Dayananda Sagar University, Bengaluru, Karnataka, India, and brings with him vast experience in the field of clinical trials and pharmacoeconomics. His insights will offer us a clearer understanding of how to strike a right balance between innovation and cost effectiveness in the drug development. The field of pharmacoeconomics plays an essential role in evaluating the cost effectiveness of new treatments, particularly in clinical trial phase. With healthcare costs rising and the need for the innovative therapies is increasing, optimizing resources without compromising the efficacy has become a very crucial goal. Dr. Tiwari sir will discuss the key strategies and methodologies to ensure that drugs we develop to meet both clinical and economic expectations, ultimately benefiting the patients and the healthcare system. It is remarkable to note we have received over 1800 registrations from more than 20 countries, which speaks the volume about the global importance of this particular topic. We are excited to see such enthusiastic participation from the professionals all around the world as we celebrate the 66th SPSR webinar. I would like to take a moment to express the heartfelt gratitude to the all participants and the supporters who have been with us in this journey. Over the course of these webinars, we have received a continuous positive feedback, which energizes and motivates the entire SPSR team to consistently deliver the high quality knowledge sharing platforms to our audience. Your support keeps us going strong, and we are committed to ensure that each webinar provides a valuable insights and the learning opportunities. Before we commence, I would warmly welcome to Dr. Shashi Alo, our National President, whose visionary leadership has been crucial in the impressive transformation of SPSR. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks for the significant contributions made by Mr. Junaid Tantric, the co-convener of this webinar, and a special note of appreciation to the SPSR team. Your hard work, dedication, and passion are driving force behind these webinars. It is through your efforts that we continue to uplift the pharmacy profession and deliver knowledge to the global audience. Through the consistent collaboration with the distinguished speakers from across the globe, we aim to bring forward a cut-edge research and the perspectives that enrich our audience understanding of the key topic in the pharmaceutical sciences and healthcare. We also applaud our global audience for their continued commitment to learning, attending these webinars regularly, and being part of this incredible journey of knowledge exchange. Your enthusiasm and participation have played a key role in making these events successful and impactful. Today's topic is one of the very great importance to the future of drug development, and I am certain that our participants will gain a valuable knowledge from the Dr. Tiwari's expertise. Keep up with the innovation through the SPSR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive webinars, expert insights, and the latest research in the pharmaceutical sciences. Join our dynamic community contributing to the healthcare advancements. Unlock the secrets of the pharmaceutical industries with the insight from the very top experts. Stay updated with the latest trends, innovation, and expert advice. Do not miss out on the valuable knowledge that can elevate your career and the understanding of pharmaceutical sciences. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon. Join our community of professionals and enthusiasts today. Without further delay, it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Prashant Tiwari sir to lead us through today's topic on pharmacoeconomics in the clinical trials. Thank you, and I wish everyone a very productive and engaging webinar. Over to you, Mr. Junaid Tantre.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate Mrs. Monika Sabharwal, ma'am, for granting me the opportunity to present the webinar. And now we will start with a short introduction of guest profile. Dr. Prashant Tiwari, sir, is an esteemed associate professor of pharmacology at Dayananda Sagar University, Bengaluru, with over 13 years of rich experience in teaching and research. He earned his PhD from Shiksha Anshudan University, Bhubaneswar, and was awarded the prestigious ICMR Fellowship. His prolific research portfolio spans across areas such as drug screening, benzimidazole derivatives, and the neuroprotective effects of nanoemulsion. Dr. Tiwari sir has made significant contributions to the field of pharmacology, having authored 8 books, edited 6, co-authored 8 book chapters, and filed 7 patents, with 2 patents already granted. His academic and research excellence was recognized when he was honored with Dr. P.D. Patil National Award for the Best Thesis in 2022. Additionally, he has organized a national e-seminar on targeted drug delivery, showcasing his leadership in bringing together experts in the world in the field. A dedicated mentor, Dr. Tiwari supervises both m.pharm and PhD students, helping shape the next generation of research. His research interests lie in the areas of neurodegenerative disorders, pharmacokinetics, dynamics, and metabolic disorders. He is also an active member of several prestigious scientific organizations, serves as a peer reviewer for renowned journals. Dr. Tiwari sir's expertise and contributions continue to impact the field of pharmacology and drug development, making him a sought-after speaker in academic and research forums. It's a great satisfaction and pride that we declare that we have exceeded 1,800 restaurants globally, showcasing an impressive diversity of countries. Significant attendance is noted from the nations including India, Canada, Egypt, Indonesia, Iraq, Italy, Kenya, KSA, Malaysia, Nepal, Oman, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Thailand, UAE, and USA. We're deeply moved by the substantial and varied responses we are garnered. A heartfelt gratitude is extended to each person who taken a moment to participate in this significant event. So without further ado, thank you for all joining us today. Let's make this webinar an insightful and enriching experience for everyone involved. We have our esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. Prashant Tiwari, sir, with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So may I start?
Yeah, please, sir.
Okay. Let me share my screen. So is it visible?
Yes, sir. It's totally visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research. It's a great pleasure to me be a part of this prestigious 66 webinar. And before starting the presentation, because we are very close to celebrate World Pharmacist Day after tomorrow, or probably after 2 days. So wishing you all a World Happy Pharmacist Day. To continue before the session, I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to the National President, Dr. Shashi Alok. I think I do not have any word to introduce him. He's a great gesture. He's a great personality, because the person who go away, they never let down anybody else. So the person who is providing the platform to grow up for everyone, so we should have a round of applause for him from my bottom of the heart. Also, before starting the session, this is my responsibility to offer my deepest thanks and gratitude to Madam Monika, who is playing a vital role behind the curtain. Of course, today who is a leading role and a driving force for this session, and I can say my accompanying partner, Mr. Junaidji, who is taking a wonderful responsibility to look forward the growth of SPSR in future, and already they have done a lot. So with these, I would like to go ahead discussion on the pharmacoeconomics and clinical trial, how we can effectively minimize the cost of the therapy. That is the major global challenges. So as you knew that many things have been explored, and already your team has said me so many things about me. So I must say with a humble word, this is only a journey we have started together, and I'm not doing alone. There are many people. I am one of them. So I'm no special. I do not belong any special category. I am a man like you. I am a human like you. We are trying to uplift the society and community. How we can help each other to expand their life in a better way. So pharmacoeconomics already much very well there are two things, pharma and economic. So pharma deals with the drugs. When we talk about the drugs, so how drug process, how drug develops, what are the process involved. Drug undergoes many process, many methods to get one medicine from the medical store or over the counter drug. So drug has a multiple thing. Drug has a lot of process to be undergone to take a final say. Then only we can say a drug has been developed. So there are preclinical stages, there are clinical stages. So there are multiple challenges while screening the drug. If we talk about the preclinical study, so drug has to be screened. What are the parameters for the selection of the screening? How we can effectively choose the screening method to deliver a ligand to the specific target. If all goes well, if preclinically it's proven well, if toxicity parameters have been studied, and thereafter, if there are no major severity in association with adverse event, then we can think of a preclinical trial. However, clinical trial, very sorry. And to conduct a clinical trial, it is not an easy job. We have to go with the so many formalities, so many approvals are required to conduct the clinical trial. So while conducting the clinical trial, as you knew, clinical trial will have a lot of challenges, lot of process involved. So what exactly we are going to discuss during this session that can learn so many things, what we are aware, what we are not aware, and altogether we can get something. So we'll discuss about what are the economical factors, what is the goal of pharmacoeconomics, why it has been established, what is the need of pharmacoeconomics, then what are the different types of the pharmacoeconomics, perspectives, etc. Then applications, and finally, what is the conclusion, why we have gathered today, what we are getting out of this webinar. So I have kept a very wonderful quote over here so that we can learn about it. We can read through this screen. We came with a pill that cures everything, but I warning you, it's gonna be expensive. So when we used to take a single medication, we should always think about the economy. We should always talk about the finance. How drug is effective, that is also very important. And what are the money we are spending behind? Because to treat the cancer, to treat the uh, leprosy, TB, these are the chemotherapies. Those patients undergone with a lot of challenges. This will not subside in a day or two. We have to follow 6 months, 1 year, maybe more than that treatment. Then only we can think of the severity of life, challenges of life, because those chemotherapeutic drugs are not easy to administer. Even we can administer, so survival of the fittest is very important. Already we are a professional, so we knew that chemotherapeutic drugs not only kills the cancerous cell, they also kill the necessary cell of the human bodies. For example, WBC, RBC, hemoglobin, TLC. So these are the major cells which we required for the survival. So chemotherapeutic drug also kills those necessary cells, and therefore our immunity may get suppressed. We may get infectious. We may get comorbidity disorders or disease. So there are challenges. How we have to overcome, how we can cut short the cost of therapy. That is the major aim and objective of today's discussion. So already we talk about the marketing. So there are US FDA, there are FDA, and in India to control everything, there is a Drug Controller General of India, which is a major body, or they play a vital role before and after approval of a drug substance, because drug has to go with the under clinical trial, then it should go, drug has to go in the market, that is the post-market surveillance that comes under the phase 4 of the clinical trial. So DCGI is a major key note who is managing and addressing the pros and cons, what is happening behind it. And the sponsoring bodies or conducting and the trial who is conducting, that is their job to submit a report frequently to the DCGI what is happening. If all goes well, then only DCGI can approve for the prolonged marketing or to be administered for the patient for the designated disease or disorder. So most efficient drug is required. So as you knew that what is safety, what is efficacy, what are the therapeutic index, what is the importance of therapeutic window. So these are all the critical challenges while we administering the drug, but we have to think how much money is spending behind it, because these are all the technical point which when drug undergoes in the body and it is not reaching towards the target, so that means our drug is ineffective. Drug does not show the desired pharmacological response. That is very important. So in the pharmacoeconomics, there are multiple drugs which we need to analyze what are the market challenges. Then a drug therapy, a specific drug therapy for the healthcare professionals to build up the society. How we individual can get benefited. If drug does not reaches to the target, it may delay the response, it may cause several unwanted effects, so it will delay another, it will delay the therapy, it will delay the benefit. So who is ultimately going to be affected or benefited? Ultimately, we all are sufferer. Ultimately, we are all are benefited. So this is a chain market. This is a series of chain which are linked together. Because if anybody among the group get failed, so this will impact the others. If anybody gets succeeded, so it will impact the others. So this is a series of chain. When drug goes into the stomach, it has to dissolve, it has to interact with the pH, it has to be passed for the kinetic, that is the pharmacokinetic, absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. So kinetic, what I understood from my end, that is the movement of drug, that is the journey of drug, how drug travels across the body, how body responds for the drug. So that is the process designed by four mechanism, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism. Finally, drug has to reach into the systemic circulation. But before that, there are several comorbidity disorders, there are pathophysiological changes, there are the etiological factors who can affect the efficacy of the drug. Even drug has been designed with the utmost care. The manufacturers took the best practice. Still, drug does not show the desired response. Maybe a genetic factors, maybe there are some comorbidities. So these are the associated factors who can delay the response, and ultimately it delays the response, and finally financial burden to the over the patient. So that is the major challenges which we need to discuss. Why pharmacoeconomics is required? Why pharmacoeconomics is a leading factor as of now? So it is one of the major criteria out of many to drug develop, because drug develop is required a lot of finance. It's a matter of millions of USD. Then only we can get a drug. Because being a common fellow, we cannot think how drugs are coming. If anything required, we have to go over to the medical stores or medicine. Now are the multiple shops are also available. If you can go the plus meds, now you can go with the online medications also. So all the details are there, but we never ever think how drug develops. So to take any medications, we have to think the drug development process. So there are preclinical and clinical process which drug has to undergo successfully, then only we can expect. And to develop one drug, it requires more than 5 years, 10 years. However, nowadays there are so many technological interventions are there. So we can reduce the time, we can reduce the cost of therapy, we can minimize the delays. But this is not an easy job. It's required a lot of efforts. Intellectual is required. What is the impact of therapy? once drug is developed, so what is the impact? If in one word, what I understood, I can let you know whether we get any therapeutic response or either we get any desired pharmacological response or drug is 100% failed to show the desired response. Desired response is nothing, it's a symptomatic relief. If drug suppresses or minimize 100% your disease or disorders, then only we can say a symptomatic relief. For example, if you are suffering from a fever, cold, or viral fever, or you are sneezing also, and you have taken a drug substance, but still your fever does not subside. Still you are having a cold, still patient is sneezing. What to do? It means either we did not completed a course of therapy or either drug is not so effective. It means you have got the relief for the time being, but we require a symptomatic relief. So to have a symptomatic relief, there is a requirement of completion of course of therapy. If a patient is suffering from viral fever, so of course we require antibiotics. So during the administration of antibiotic, a course of therapy is required to complete. If any individual not able to complete the course of therapy, so those bacteria or drug may get resistance. For example, to make it more easy, if we have taken a challenge or any admission in any course, if you are doing any course program and you have not completed the desired or stipulated period of time, is required to complete the course. If any individual did not complete it, so they are unable, they are not eligible to have the certificate program or any degree program or any post graduation program. Similarly, to subside those microorganisms or viruses, we require to complete a duration, a course. Then only we can 100% eradicate those microorganisms or bacteria. If we do not complete the courses, so bacteria may get suppressed for the time being, but later on they can multiply their growth 10 times greater, 10 times greater, 50 times greater, 100 times greater, because we have suppressed. Bacteria and viruses are so notorious. Their nature is extremely unpredictable. Therefore, we used to say notorious in nature. They will suppress their growth when they feel any antibiotics are associated near to them. They will suppress their growth. Once antibiotic passes, then again they will strengthen their self. It happens when we do not complete the course. So again, it will delay your disease and cost of therapy is going to be increases. So the point is that any individual responsibility is to complete the entire therapy. If we feel healthy also, or even symptoms are subsided, still we require to complete. Therefore, physician always instruct, take this for a 3 days duration, have XYZ medication for 1 week duration or 15 days duration. If you are suffering from, if you are having any infectious disorders, skin infection is there. So, fluconazole, ketoconazoles are the strongest antimicrobial drug. So, we have to complete either a 1 week or either 15 days as per the instruction. If we use to discontinue, then it will never subside. It will appear and it may lead to any severe disorder further or any diseases. So regarding the many factors associated with drug development and their economical factor, it requires to screen appropriately, then only we can have a limited number of drug for a limited resources, because resources are not so easy to collect. There are limitations, there are financial limitations, there are screening limitations. Drug has to come to your hand, it required a lot of process. This is not an easy job, because only the manufacturer has not to lose the money. You have to also lose the money from your pocket to get a desired drug substance. Then only we can expect What is the pain behind it? Because we can spend 1,000 rupees over the store, but we never realize the pain. We never realize what is the challenges behind it. So those are the limitations. Because to get a crude drug, to get a raw material, it's not an easy job. It has to go with a lot of process. We have to synthesize, we have to procure. If it is not associated near our manufacturing area, we have to import. And importing cost is, we people are very much aware. We have to pay the duties. Then only we'll get. And ultimately, it will burden to our pocket. Either you think that one way or either you think other way, but the target is only one. So we have to perform a best with our limited amenities. What are the limitations? What are the resources? What are the values we have? Accordingly, we have to invest. So this will lead so many factors. So therefore, pharmacoeconomics is required. We can minimize so many things while treating the patient, either OPD or either in ICU. So what are the goals of pharmacoeconomics? So very simple, how to cut short the cost of therapy, not the drug. If physician suggests to have a 1 week of tablet A, tablet B, tablet C, so we have to complete. And cost of therapy is going to be increases if there are any risklessness by the physician or maybe by the paramedical staff or maybe the individual patient. What is happening during the student's life? I can tell you one of mine example. When we were studying, so if we have a cold or fever or anything else, so what we used to think, one tablet we have taken, fever subsided, not to take for the next. If it appears for any event, we will take the same. What does it mean? Maybe we are young, so our immunity is strong, so somehow body has managed. But this principle or this cleverness doesn't work forever. One time you can cheat the microorganism or any virus, but not for the forever, because they knew your strength, they knew your nature, so they will suppress and they will grow like anything, and they may kill the life. So the goal is to reduce the cost of therapy, to manage the cancer, to manage the diabetes, to manage the tuberculosis or leprosy. We have to administer a drug substance for a month, for a 6 months, for a year, because these are all the chemotherapy treatment, and chemotherapy requires a time. So don't you think if you discontinue the anti-tubercular drug for next 3 months, then what is going to be happen? We cannot eradicate. You know that in India is now you can't see a polio because the government took a major drive to eradicate the polio. So that is required. That strength and intent is within us, and that we have to impart. Else we will suffer. We will suffer, and ultimately, who are the sufferer? Community is the sufferer. Resources are limited. Either drug is available in store, that is different thing. How stores are managing, that is also very important, because the demand is high, so cost will also increase. And ultimately, we have to improve allocation of resources. What does it mean? Vinegar rosea, it's a great alkaloidal content, which is having an anti-cancerous property. So vinegar rosea is available in every household. If you can see, not in the urban area, so you can visit any rural area, so they have. But nobody knows the properties, and they simply used to waste here and there. So those resources are important. Limitations are there. We have to take care. So we will talk about here what are the different methods, how we can minimize the cost of therapy. So there are input cost, there are a healthcare system, or we can say that pharmaceutical products where drugs are being manufactured, and analyze the outcome. What is the outcome? Either the outcome is as per the expectation, or what or as per the anticipatory inputs, or it is against the expectation. So these are the major goals which we will discuss in upcoming session. If in between you have any concern, you can note down, you can text, you can share. Definitely, I will try to address. So what is the cost? Everybody doing shopping nowadays. E-commerce is available, e-marketing is available, offline marketing is available. So cost is nothing. It's, if you can say in a very simple words, it's an bargaining. We do not release the money before bargaining. We have to bargain. So how it is related over here? If any raw material is required to have a particular drug substance, so for that a cost is a very playing a very crucial role behind. So there can be a different methodology, either a direct cost, either indirect cost, either intangible cost, or either maybe an opportunity cost. So we will discuss step by step. So what is the direct medication cost? Cost of medical services. If you have taken the any admission in the hospital, so there are services, there are a paramedical staff, there are a physician, there are ICU. So all those services increases your cost of therapy. Can be minimized? Yes. So the fixed cost means it is designed by, it is fixed by the government, where we cannot change. There is no scope of bargaining, because that cost is designed by, fixed by the committee, and that committee is responsible to take care of the cost of therapy. So fixed cost, whenever you see any strip, so there are a cost that is the design proposed by the manufacturer but approved by the government. So government has to approve, government has to take care of those things. There are certain other costs, that is the known as variable cost. Number of patient treated, cost of drug or needles. So that means these are the additional costs which we have, because if we want to administer paracetamol injection, so simple in ampoule you cannot inject. No? We require a needle, we require a syringe, we require a nursing staff, we require a supporting staff to administer a drug. So those things increases the cost of therapy. That is the variable, that is the non-dependable factor. So these are the dependable factor. Tablet you can take, it's okay. Tear the strip and take a tablet. But injection we can't take. IV fluids we can't take. So there are direct non-medical costs are also there, like transportation towards the hospital, because manufacturing is happening at one place and it has to travel from one place to another place. Maybe the plant is situated at anywhere of the any part of the country, and that product has to travel across the country. So the cost of transportation also we have to bear. So it enhances the in volume in terms of the finance. So income is important. Intangible cost, that is the pain, worry, or other suffering his family might suffer. So we used to think of what are the opportunity cost. That is very important. That is the labor, building, and management. So because we have to have a organized medical store, we should have a desired temperature. For that we require a refrigerator where we can store. We have to appoint certain fellow who can help. So that is a labor or capital. So we should have capital is an worth, how much we are paying, how much we are getting, what is the output, what is the input, and other resources are involved. That losses the another opportunities, because ultimately it is extracted from our pocket. That is the who is the pay? A patient is a pay, our family is a pay, patient family is pay. So we have to think of all those things, how we can minimize. So nowadays technology interventions are there. air system is there, railways are there to reduce the time to deliver a drug substance on time. That is a major benefit. Earlier, it was not there because of the several challenges. So, perspectives of pharmacoeconomics. So, in what prospections we can expect a better economy, pharmacoeconomics. So, direct medical cost, non-medical cost, indirect, non-medical cost, intangible opportunity that we discussed. So, there are a multiple factors who are responsible for the for the prospection of economics. So once we have selected a next step, so that we have to speculate now, then only we can anticipate what are the anticipatory cost of the therapy. That also we can calculate and we can administer. We will discuss in the next how. So we can include three things: direct, indirect, or intangible. That already we focus. I have prepared some calculation also to make it easy. So this included direct cost only and concerned with the expenses of providing different services which are involved in the hospital care or nursing care or paramedical care. So indirect cost mainly involve the relevance of employee, lost work days or lost productivity at a work. So to run the show, any individual cannot. We require a team. So that is also a major factor. So there are certain social factor, government is involved, third parties are there. So if any drugs are coming from the manufacturing area, so there are a C&F, that is the carrying and forwarding, and there are this C&F is there, and then stockists are there. Then only we can any retailer can have a medication. So all those cost is going to be where it is coming directly or indirectly to the individual patient. And apart from that, if any medication or any therapy we require, so we have to be, but obviously we have to visit the hospital. And to run the hospital, we require a manpower, we require resources. So all those resources are being managed, and there we required a person, there we required a professional, there we required a doctor who can think up in what way it can be reduced. So this is not only individual responsibility, everyone is responsible for the effective management of pharmacoeconomics. So there are societal perspectives. Society also has to play a very vital role. So in that, we have to evaluate the all costs and consequences. And consequences may be immediate, consequences can be later. So while selecting any medication or any therapy, this is the responsibility of professionals, because patients are always patient. They doesn't know, they are already suffered. They don't know all those things. So who is responsible? We are the representative. We are their well-wisher. We are playing the vital role. If we escape our job, if we do not, we are not capable enough to play the vital role, to manage the responsibility, to manage the, so ultimately patient is sufferer. So that is our job. So societal perspectives are high, because if anybody going, any individual is going to have a visit for any OPD or any consultation, so that is our job. Their expectations are high. They don't know anything. They want a relief immediately. How we can do? So that is the responsibility of each one of who is involved in the healthcare system. So eco model is required to minimize to manage the so for pharmacoeconomics, clinical outcome, economical outcome, and ultimately who is a beneficiary? Human, I, you, everyone. So clinical outcome is very important. Clinical outcome is nothing. It is just, you can say that in one word, if I wanted to let you know, either there is any symptomatic relief, either drug is effective or either drug is not effective. So certain trials are single centric, certain clinical trials are multi-centric, and if we want to conduct a multi-centric trial, then we require a time, we require a manpower, we require resources, we require finance. Because drug works with so many variable factors, genetic factors, environmental factors, sex differences, or any uh, 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 environmental changes. Accordingly, their genes are going to change. Their tissue can mutate. With respect to the India, if I wanted to let you know, so in J&K climate is different. In North India, climate is different. Their lifestyle is different. So similarly, there is a requirement of conducting a multi-centric trial, which can conduct pan India, pan Asia. Genes are different. In European country, climate is different. In Asian country, climate is different. In Gulf, climates is different. Genes are different. Mutations are happening. So one drug does not fit for all. One drug does not fit for all. That is the principal concept. Maybe any drug is effective for me, or may the similar drug, similar disease for other patient doesn't work. So one drug never ever we can fit for all. So this enhances. There are challenges. So this is the duty of the healthcare professional like us. Physicians are involved, paramedicals are involved, manufacturers are involved, and economic outcomes. So while manufacturing or while conducting the trial, can we or are there any chances to minimize the cost of therapy while conducting the trial? So with the utmost care, there is a chances we can minimize. And ultimately, who is going to be benefited? We society are the most eligible fellow who is going to be benefited, because directly or indirectly it has come to us. Either we are ready for the same, or simply we are thinking, okay, let it be, whatever is happening, let it be happen, we'll look after. That is an old era. We have to be proactive, we have to pro thought, then only we can expect and we can involve ourselves as well to maintain this eco model. So there are certain parameters, clinical, economic, and humanities. So ultimately, survival and mortality and morbidity. So those who are very good in pharmacology, or maybe they have done their master graduation also, so they knew what is the survival, mortality, and morbidity. So before conducting any clinical trials, a drug has to pass for their toxicity. So we have to conduct the acute, subacute, and chronic toxicity, followed by the OECD guidelines. So there are different guidelines for dermal, different guideline for ophthalmic, for reproductive, different guidelines are there. So it is depending upon the nature of drug or which disease we are going to target. So we have to prove their toxicity, LD50 and ED50. So 50% population either died or 50% population either get benefited. So their survival is important. So direct or indirect methods are there for the management of economy, and who is the humanistic, that is the patient. Quality of life is important. Nowadays, every individual are capable enough, even if they are not capable enough, they are bothering, they are thinking how we can have a quality life with respect to the health. That is important. And how we can reduce the burden. So to reduce the burden, there are different countries having a different guideline. If in with respect to the India, government has a very playing a very vital role. So there are different health card system. They are subsidizing the treatment to reduce the cost of therapy, so that ultimately patients would get benefited. So there are health cards, there are master cards. So different government, state government or the central government, time to time they are revising their policy so that patients would get benefited. So there are certain life-saving drug. For life-saving drug also, government is keep monitoring those policies and regulations, and they are keep monitoring the market trend, and accordingly they are reviewing the policy and upgrading the policy time to time, so that societies would get benefited. So there are different type of studies: cost minimization, effectiveness, benefit analysis, and utility. So these are the four basic principles of pharmacoeconomics: minimization, effectiveness, benefit, and utility of analysis. So how we can minimize? I will try to explain with my best. So cost minimization, we will directly come into the point how we can. So there are brand versus generic. There are different antibiotic therapies. There are different route of administration of the same drug. Oral drug, semi-solid, solid, liquid, injectable, different route of a different form of drug, different route of administration. Maybe IV, maybe oral, maybe intramuscular, maybe subclinical, maybe subcutaneous. So these are the different route of administration. So you can take a patient drug A and you can take a drug B, maybe branded, maybe generic, and you see the effectiveness. Probably I have mentioned over here. So suppose I have not mentioned anybody's drug name because we cannot judge anyone. We are no one to judge anybody else. We can see only the effectiveness. So suppose if we have drug A or drug B, maybe one is branded, one is generic. So are you I'm damn sure you are very well aware about the generic and brand name. So brand name is in a tagging of any formula, or generic is just available in the market into their name. There is no branding. They are available as per their name. Paracetamol is available. Tetracycline, it is available. But if you will go to the brand, so similar, there are different brand names. For Ranbaxy, they are marketing the drug. They are paying the money for branding the molecule. They are doing a lot of R&Ds. But ultimately, effect is important, efficacy is important, response is important. That response is pharmacological response, therapeutic response, symptomatic response, symptomatic relief. That is important. So antibiotic effectiveness, if we wanted to see either 90% for branded or generic, so for that we have to observe. That is an observation. Pharmacoeconomics is nothing. It is all about the observation, what is happening to the patient. Either the individual is going to be benefited with the same branded drug, or either they are also going to be benefited with the generic. So if we are going behind the brand, so company need a lot of R&D, company need a main multiple resources and manpower. So thereby their cost of therapy is going to be increased. Suppose paracetamol, if you are going to have for a branded Paradol, Paramed, so their cost is little bit different. But the plain paracetamol, if you're having from the by generic name, so their cost may be 6 rupees or 7 rupees for a strip. So cost of therapy and response is also important, because ultimately we are having either branded or generic to get the relief. If we do not get relief, all are failed. If we get beneath, job is done. So which drug is benefited? So there actually, in my opinion, there are a lot of debate, or there are multiple conflicts. So I will not compare over here what are the opinion of the physician. Few people are having a very great strength towards the generic, and most of them are not favoring generic also, or some of them are not favoring branding also. It is there are multiple factors which is not in our hand, but we can see who is going to be benefited, because formula is similar. So quality of manufacturing, R&D, quality assurance, quality control, follow-up of standard operating procedure, following up of good manufacturing practices. So these required resources. If we involve all those things to assure this individual drug or particular drug is going to have the effect, so we have to pay. So thereby, government came up with the plan of the generic medications, and lot of generic medicines are stores are available across the India, and I'm damn sure because participants are uh, attending this webinar from different part of the globe, so definitely they have a certain policies in the respective countries to look into that. And but obvious, CDSCO is there, DCGI is there, so they are monitoring time to time. US FDA is there, FDA is there. They are doing a lot of work, but different government has a different plan. So cost minimization therapy is also required. Here you can see, just I have kept a branded and generic, or generic versus brand, or branded versus generic. So there are certain comparison how we can minimize the cost of therapy, but ultimately effectiveness is required. If we are getting the similar effect from the drug A or drug B, so we have to follow we have to pay a minimum cost. It doesn't require. Even if we are saving 10 rupees also, that matters a lot. So acutance cost, administration cost, monitoring cost, adverse effect cost, then subtotal you can see. So here in drug A, you can see what is the criteria for the drug A. So the total cost of therapy around 500 rupees. And here for drug B, we are paying 400 rupees. So there is a difference of 100 rupees value wise. But if you can see the effectiveness of a drug A and drug B, both are showing 90% response. So effectiveness, pharmacoeconomics, management. So here for monitoring, here you can say the changes. For adverse effect, how much differences are there? For administration, here charges are no. So ultimately it will enhance, because as I told you at the very beginning, to administer an injection of any drug substance, we required syringe, we required needle, we required manpower. So all those things are going to be included in the therapy. So these are the management, how we can manage. Cost effectiveness analysis. Because if we do not analyze, so we can't get anything. Analysis is nothing. It is all about the observation. What is our expectation? What is the existing system? What is happening? Are we measuring them? Do we have any scale? Do we have any parameter? Do we have any method to minimize certain things? Yes. If so, then only we can. So life-saving hospitalizations of a patient, cost and consequences, these are very important parameters. So decision making is identifying to perform choice among possible alternatives. Here we require a lot of management, observation, involvement, attainment, and then it will pertain to the cost of therapy, right? Then only it will pertain to the cost of therapy, else it is not going to be effective. So there are methods how we can calculate, how we can minimize the economical cost of factors. So cost versus effectiveness. As we have rightly discussed, drug A and drug B. So for drug A, we are paying X amount, and for drug B, we are paying X amount. But there is no differences in effectiveness. Effect is same. So ultimately, we can compromise, but we should not compromise with the effectiveness of drug. If drug is so cheaper, drug cost is so low, but the effectiveness is not there, then it is useless. To get a good thing, we have to pay. But ultimately, this should be effective. patients should get relief by lowering the cost of therapy. So this is the choice. This is the individual choice. If you want to have a survey, so people may think my choice is private sector, or individual method, my choice is government sector. So there are private hospitals, there are government hospitals. So accordingly, your plan, your therapy, your cost, everything is altered. So that is the decision. Ultimately, our individual decision, what decision we are going to have. So it involves everything. So in a drug, what are the different methods? Again, here you can say how we can minimize. The similar example I have kept here also for acquisition, administration, monitoring, adverse effect, and then you can see the total. So ultimately, we should not compromise with the effectiveness of drug. Either drug is available with a high value or with a low value. But if non-effective, we should discard the plan. So one more example is there. How that is depending upon several factors. So here, per extra year of life is important. Cost effectiveness ratio. We have to see the ratio of worth. How much value we have paid behind, and what are the effectiveness response of a drug. For example, if we have taken a 10 population to manage the drug therapy, but only 2 lower cost of therapy having the effectiveness, and 8 of patient responses are negative or no response. So we can say that the lower therapy or the managing of the therapy behind the drug is failed. 50% population at least should get benefited, then only any therapy or any idea or methodology can work out. So response is ultimate. So who is going to benefit it? So quality of life per year, this is important. So cost benefit analysis is also required. That is nothing. This is all about how much we are paying, what are the benefit we are getting, because there are multiple government schemes, there are individual uh, insurance, health insurances are also there, which you can take up, because nowadays everybody are very much conscious about their health. So they have a definitely health policies. So if any emergencies or if any medical mishappenings are associated, so we can also reduce those costs of therapies. We can opt the different government plans. If any major surgeries are happening, maybe any cardiac related surgery or maybe any liver related surgery, so we can, if we have a health plan, so definitely we can minimize. So net cost or benefit. So benefit and cost, both are parallel. We cannot exclude benefit, we cannot exclude cost. Both are parallelly happening. So there are limitations. Only one program can be implemented because it's a trial and error method. It may fail, it may pass, it may accept, it may reject. Multiple scheme we cannot launch. Gradually we can plan in a manner wise, in a planned wise, then only we can expect. Because multiple work always fail. Why? Because we could not able to manage, we could not able to focus. We have to focus our target. If we succeeded, then we can think for the next. Apply the same, get the response, and go ahead. So utility analysis is basically a quality of life. If there is no relief, even reducing the cost of therapy, disease is still as it is. So we have to change our methodology. Either we can adopt innovations or we can change our strategy. If there are any glitches, so evaluating arthritic treatment, because arthritic treatment is very severe. We have to have a medication for long term. It's a prolonged administration, and arthritic drug causes severe adverse event also. It may deteriorate your liver, it may deteriorate kidney, because the elimination rate matters a lot. Chemotherapy, as you know that there are different stages of chemotherapy we have to follow, and the survival of the patient is very important. So cost of therapy will also enhance, and there are severe adverse event also, that also we have to manage. So there are multiple factors we have to look into, then only we can think of the well-being of the life. So there are now I am going to very close to the binding of the session. So it's just a recall: cost, utility, benefit analysis, effectiveness, minimization of analysis. These are the different methods which we can implement for the management of pharmacoeconomics related to the quality of life, well-being of a population. So what are the different application, what we are expecting if we wanted to have pharmacoeconomics in our life to reduce the cost of therapy? So these are the certain applications which I have noted down. Maybe there are others. So precision in pharmaceutical industry, that is the precision and accuracy. Those who had pharmaceutical analysis during your graduation program, so you know what is precision and accuracy, decision and reimbursement. So there are different schemes also we can go with later on. We can claim, and what is the reimbursement process. So it will help definitely. Decision making capacity it will develop. So these are the certain assistance if we can have from the perfect management of pharmacoeconomics. So your individual decision matters a lot for the utilization of existing resources. The value of new agent, if any new drug have come up, so for that also we have to think of, can we minimize? Yes, by the better management or with the great decision policies we can look into. So ultimately we have come up with the final conclusion. What is the ultimately we are going to have discussion, going to have output during this 1 hour or 1.5 hour discussion. So this is not enough. We are here to offer you a best. We can enlighten you. There are certain books, there are textbook, reference book, articles, and patents are also available, which we need to explore, because policies are going to change every time. So time and money can only spent once choice is invented. So time and money, because some people have time but they don't have money. Some people have money but they don't have time, so they also need to pay. We have to aware ourselves, then aware community, aware your family, because knowledge is useless, knowledge is waste unless and until you are not utilizing your knowledge for the wellness of community. You may be anyone, you may be a great fellow, but if you are not going to implement even a single percent for the wellness of even your family, your knowledge is waste, useless. We have to imply wherever required at your best. So this pharmacoeconomics is a regular practice. It's a consistent practice. Then only we can expect a better output. So probability factor is there. There are dependent factor. There are non-dependent factor, because government playing a very vital role. Government has to take the lead, and to drive this drive, our participation is required. We have to proactive, and we can minimize the ADR also. So this is from my end. I hope I have covered maximum portion. Still, there are many things to discuss, because in classes also we need multiple classes to cover the every aspect. So this is the conclusion only. So thank you so much, everyone, participants who are actively participating across the globe. And I, from my end, from my bottom of the heart, I applause of round of applause for them, because without them this show is incomplete. And last but not the least, the leader or ligand or hero of the show, that is the SPSR. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and your questions are always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was nothing sort of exceptional, and we have been exposed to this intriguing concept of pharmacoeconomics. Definitely, we learned so many things today. Very well said, sir. The time we have to utilize the time and money if we are, using both of them. So we have to utilize and whatever we are learning, we have to give back into the society also. Very well said, sir. So before concluding, sir, we have received some questions. So one of the questions is that someone has written, can you provide examples where pharmacoeconomic strategies significantly impacted the success or failure of drugs development or approval?
Oh, very wonderful. Actually, I was expected this. So there are multiple things which I will cover with this one simple example. Pharmacoeconomics. If there are a pain over stomach, so it will subside towards the heart or towards the cardiac. So patient always think I am having or I may have a cardiac disorder. So they never ever think, because when acid reflects towards the esophagus, it will it will touch the apex region of the heart.
Right.
So it is then upper chest pain, maybe the right or the left. And patient immediately will look into the cardiologist. They will examine and ultimately reports are negative, because actually problem is not associated to heart, problem is associated to your stomach. So address of disease, that is very important. So when they came to know we required a gastrologist, for the time being they have spent a lot of money. So that enhances the cost of therapy. And when we realize is there any gastro-related disorder, so till the time maybe GIT get damaged, maybe there are severe adversity. So right management or decision which we have discussed during our presentation, time and decision and money. So if right time, we can choose a right physician, or we can address a disease at right time, we can minimize. And this is the normal tendency we use to have a self-medication. Okay, we will take this medication. What happened? Then again it will appear, we will take something. Where unless and until it become more severe, we never go. So right address of a disease at right time by the right person. That is important. I hope I have covered.
Right, sir, of course. And we have one more question, sir. What are the key components of pharmacoeconomics that needs to be considered in clinical trial design?
In pharmacoeconomics, while we are conducting the trial, so the selection of ligand is very important. Then selection of the healthy individuals into the trial, that is very important based on the inclusion and exclusion method. Because conducting the trial required a lot of time and money.
Money.
And selection of healthy individuals. If any severe adverse event happens during the trial, so immediately we have to stop the trial and we have to
Right.
address. If we can't, then we cannot conduct the trial. So the cost of trial drug, involvement of individuals, and selection of individual, that is important. If we can click the individual who is sufferer, so we can involve them directly into the trial via their consent. Screening. So for that, one model is required. This model is working somewhere else, but it is not happening effectively. There should be a center where all the hospitals can exchange their information, because choice is different. Maybe X person choice is hospital A, B, C, or D. The
C,
B
D.
person choice is so and so. So from where we will get the patient? Hospital is only the center or resources. So we should develop such technology where we can enroll and in one click we can get this patient is at this individual hospital. So directly we can acquire or we can adopt with the prior approval. So this can be a method to reduce. This is a
Right,
requirement.
rightly said. We have last question, sir. How can pharmacoeconomic analysis influence decision making during different phases of drug development? It is somewhat
It's
similar to the
very well said, sir. So making a chapati is different and to develop a drug, it's a different thing. So the cost we have to anticipate. Sometimes what is happening and what has happened, one phase of the trial has been conducted in one country and they wanted to conduct a remaining trial at XYZ country. I should not take a name. Already we knew that India is the great platform to conduct the clinical trials. So no,
clinical
but obvious
trials.
India is the phase. So when they conducted the trial, so that is their responsibility to reveal the things to carry forward the remaining trial. If they do not reveal, so there are certain procedures which we have to done before conductance of the second or third phase. So if we can disclose those things, so somehow it can reduce at least 0.1 million also. And
Mm,
0.1 million matters a lot.
it's a lot.
So it's a coordination between a parties. Who is
Mm,
a sponsor, who is conductor, and where is the hospital. And timely agreement is required. If we used to get delay from the individual or from the government, it will delay, and delaying of anything will enhances the cost of therapy, cost of construction, cost of manufacturing.
mm.
So for that, coordination is required among the persons who are
Persons.
involved directly or indirectly.
Thank you once again, sir. As we are concluding, today's webinar has shed light on a critical role of pharmacoeconomics in clinical trials and how optimizing cost effectiveness is paramount to advancing drug development. Sir also explored balancing economic efficiency with therapeutic value is essential in making informed decisions that can impact patient outcomes and healthcare system globally. Sir also shared the highlights not only the importance of integrating cost analysis in early trial process, but also strategic planning and resource allocation can streamline the pathway from research to regulatory approval and market access. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker for providing such valuable knowledge, sir, and all the participants for their engagement and thoughtful questions. By continuing to explore the implement pharmacoeconomic strategies, we can assure that innovative therapies reach those in need while maintaining sustainability in drug development. We are deeply thankful to Dr. Shashi Alok sir, the National SPSR, the National President of SPSR, for honoring us with his presence. We recognize and appreciate your commitment, sir, and guidance. We offer profound thanks for your significant input. I would also I'd like to thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Prashant Tiwari, sir, whose expertise provided us with a valuable understanding of pharmacoeconomics in clinical trial, optimizing cost effectiveness in drug development. I would also like to acknowledge Mrs. Monika Sabharwal, ma'am, for being there and organizing this event. Our gratitude extends to all the participants from all the countries for joining us and expanded our knowledge and encouraged cooperative learning. So we are grateful for your significant involvement in the 66th SPSR webinar. Your engagement, participation, input has been very essential for us. Once again, thank you so much to all of you, and thank you so much to the esteemed speaker and attendees for making this event a success. We look forward to your continued engagement in future discussions. Stay connected, stay innovative, and together, let's continue to enhance health outcomes for all. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much once again, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste. Thank you.